Hello and howdy and welcome back to City Skylines 2. This week we are doing a colonization level European expansion in Benton County. We had a huge area that was left to expand, and I think I have the perfect place which we can use as reference for today's build. This area is located north of Hamburg Airport in this city or town. It covers a huge area and we are going to be making just that. I have a small announcement to make. I will be updating and changing my profile icon and banner soon. So if you see a different profile and banner with the same channel name, don't worry. I will be announcing the change in my community post and Twitter. Be sure on the lookout for that. Before we move on, if you enjoy this video, then please leave a like, and if you're new or enjoy my content, please subscribe. And a huge thank you to these for joining the Patreon. And thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of it. We will have to start with terraforming the land. Luckily here we don't have a wild land, so we won't have to worry about anything, and I will take the 5 or 6 meter of elevation and flatten the area with the same. We are flattening the area only because this whole piece of land is going to see a tremendous growth in population, and we need our houses and buildings to be fairly lined up nicely, as we are going to have a lot of connected buildings like you see here. Now let's come to the planning. The lower part of the whole neighborhood you see below the park, that will basically become our top part, and the top part in real life will become the bottom one with some changes to the layout, and in the middle will go our huge park that will connect these two places and hopefully keep the large sum of traffic away from the streets. I think we might also have to add bus transport in to help reduce the traffic as well. For now, let's begin with the outer frame of our build, and I will start at the top at the edges of the rail lines. So most probably a nice parallel drive to the rail lines. Then in the bottom, we will focus more on straight roads, and again be right at the very edge of the river, and we will be making a few connections to this place. But I think for the first one, a connection coming from the Clover Peak neighborhood should be a good option, and then another one coming from the interchange that we made recently, and lastly a random one coming far away from following the river like we did over here. Then we'll complete the connection that we are making on the right and then come back to the left, and we will start mapping out a very rough and early stage of breaking this whole layout so that we can get our two neighborhoods and the central park. And keep in mind, this is just a rough layout for the neighborhood, and we will be making or rebuilding and improvising this as we go on. So let's start with the main layout, shall we? First things first, I will place an elementary school there just to give me an idea how big the layout is, and then we are going to start making the layout. We are going to make sure that we make each and every road similar, if not the same as real life. This neighborhood has a really good combo for low density, medium density, and a few high density buildings. The one we are building is mainly focused on low density in the corner here, and some row homes and less of very high densities. We also have some medium density gated apartment style blocks facing the park. This area is more open compared to the other, and that is what I love about this. This is why I have chosen to have this open part first, right after our rural town and the abandoned quarry, and then move to the more denser part later on. And because we have so much population density crammed in such a small area, having this park as a buffer and connection between the two helps lower down the traffic. As you can see, just like that, we have built this part of the neighborhood. We have got a lot of empty spaces now compared to before when we made the rough shell. I am also going to remove this section of the road, as I want the gated apartment blocks to have only one entrance and exit. Now we'll start making the other part of the neighborhood in this small hyperlapse. Enjoy it, and I will be back in a blink. We gotta do this. So one way we can make this not as boring as it is that we switch back to the real life and reflect what we are doing and why we did it. So currently we are filling the extra area that we have over here. In real life, you have a beautiful train station here along with other massive commercials and related buildings. But of course, for our build, we don't have the luxury to do that in this area. Hence, we are filling it with some residentials. And then we start the process where we actually try and imitate and form similar buildings like in real life. Here we are trying to balance our transition and which type of densities we place so that we can have demand for every type coming in, and also make sure that we are not crowding areas too much, as we don't have a proper wide road acting as a collector to take on the traffic. Thus we are using the prop or static versions of these buildings here to reduce the denser buildings. After this, we focus on the low density bit of this part of the neighborhood. In real life, the houses are fairly big with tons of backyard space. Many have swimming pools and hot tubs. And due to this, here we are focusing on some big 4, 5 and 6 deep housing to really get that open space behind the houses. Because our version of the layout is a little big, we will be having a little more of everything, whether it be a whole extra block or some extra roads or more houses in the same block. And why I do this, I will have to make sure I have the same color theme like in real life for as many assets I can. Some unfortunately don't allow color changes for the roofs and other areas, but hopefully we can get as many as we can. Yeah. And lastly, we can focus on making the gated apartment blocks on the top that are right at the edge of the park. I kind of love this type of concept, and it's a great way to increase property prices for the said buildings or that side of the homes. And as you can look at the final result for this park, this is how it looks. A lot of empty areas in between are screaming for detailing, and we will do it for sure. But in my opinion, we have almost nailed every part of this neighborhood, whether it be the extra parts or the stuff that we have tried to copy from the real world. Now I will time jump to when I have also completed the other neighborhood and explain how I've done things here. As you can see, this is how the other part is looking. To be honest, this took some time to get stable. We had so much traffic that I had to place buses behind the scenes to get things working. Starting from this corner here, we have a mall here with some gap behind where we can have some custom park, and I think we have used this extra block really well with the building choices. Then beside them we have the 3 apartment blocks that are of similar design, and because of that I have went with same park design. And in front we have these parking lots with gaps, so we will detail these two. Then at the top we have more of these Eastern European buildings lined up all nicely, and on their top I have used USA Southwest medium density buildings as an option. I think these fit in quite nicely without feeling too outlandish or unique from the European look that we are going. Then on the other side of the couplet we have the same patterns with some extra done to them, and I think similarly we go a little more ahead. We have more of well-lined buildings that we placed. Quite a few of them are actually additional blocks, but I think we have done it all nicely. And we are going to start with some small parks that can be made or placed in gaps that we have created. The best way, like I have showed you before, is to start with surfaces. Currently I am in love with Gaga XM surfaces, so I use his and lay them down, layer them, and then move on to the rest of the stuffs like bushes, gazebos, benches, and with the remaining spaces place the trees in there, which will cover up the space nicely. This time though, I am adding an additional layer of detailing for such special detailings or hero detailings, what I call them, where you take the pink flower bush, Select the dead edge and spam it around the tree trunk at negative 0.7 or negative 0.8 meters, which kind of gives a cool look to it, and the trees don't look boring, especially on their trunks, because we don't have grass in the game yet. And I will leave you with a small hyperlapse compilation of me filling in the gaps, just like what we are doing here, and I'll catch you up when we are doing something different. So for these parking areas that we had, I was thinking to connect them with a tiled surface and also fix some grass texture of others, and then we can move on to placing the road markings on the parking lot just to show where there is driving line, and it also kind of fills the empty dead space that we had. After that, we can move on to placing flower beds beneath the markings to fill the rest of the gap, and then in the empty spaces between the park lots, I am going to place the small micro parks that we have, and just take a look how good these look over here. And to add another level of protection, I'm going to add barriers so that the benches are safe, and just in case if someone sends it too much, so these barriers will keep the benches safe. Then I'll work on the park behind the mall, which is again going to be a small task, just setting up the surfaces, then the pathways, and then some same rest of the stuff. But on the right, I wanted to do a little different. So I'm going to make some sort of picnic area here beside the massive fountain. I think this setting really makes sense right behind the mall, and most importantly right at a riverfront. Then we have this another area to detail, where to make it seem legit and take legal shortcut, I'm placing a park in between, so that if not only fills the gap that we have, but also it's totally functional. Then some bush detailing on the front of the buildings, and here in the corner we have this huge open space, and I'm thinking of some kind of mural here, and we are going to use some decals and mix and match them and basically have them everywhere wherever we have like these huge plain walls. Now let's move our attention to the main park. The main purpose of this park is to make an easy way for citizens to cross between the two districts. The below one has a population of 13,000 and the top one has a population of 32,000. So for our park, I am thinking of a lake that is sort of located in the middle or right at the edge where the three directions meet. So let's make the lake. For that, I will use the sculpt tool and slowly carve into the land and make sure it's not too deep. I will also extend it to the upper side as we have a bridge there, so gotta use it and take full advantage of it. And after sculpting and fixing some issues, we can move on to filling our lake. So again, same as the interchange one, using the lake tool to fill up the lake all nicely, and just look at this beauty. Then we just have to make pathways and place trees in specific pattern and some more detailing. So enjoy the time lapse, and I'll catch you guys in the final showcase. And here we are finally, and we have completed the whole neighborhood. So you can see the whole neighborhood and how is it looking, and just look at the size of this neighborhood. It's literally same if not bigger than the Clover Peak neighborhood, which has a huge farm. We have a country club, and we have like a small neighborhood. So I think this has been like a really huge expansion project, and I mean it kind of speaks for itself. The bottom one, the Brightwater Reed district, is around like 13,100 citizens. Then Drive-In Terrace district has 32,600 citizens. Like in total, we have reached around 45,000 population. So let's start from the Brightwater Reed, and let's start from over here. So you can see this is basically hugging the abandoned quarry over here, and we completed this area over here with the whole detailing, with the bushes and the surfaces, benches and everything that we did together. And then apart from that, in the background we did all the other things, so filling up the gaps over here, then on the back side over there, then some over there, and then having some bushes and some flower beds lined up nicely with some pathways over here for people to walk in and cross. As you can see, it is being used so much, and I think I'm really in love with that because it is being used. Then we have some things going on over here with the flowers and the bushes, then some fallen leaf decals and everything. And in the top you can see how we have done things. This is different, and I did it in backside behind the scenes, and I'm in really love with this, how I have pulled this off. So before we get into that, for this gated apartment community, we have used a park in the middle. So this park is connected to this road, and it is basically doing a connection for like the pathway and filling in the gap in between. And you can see how many people are using this just to get cross and like use the central park and then go to their destination. So for these I use like these square pocket parks over here and place them, and then it kind of autofills the area. And then over here we had two roads, the Cedar Lane and the Marital Lane. So what we did, we added a parking on both sides, and then we used the quay upgrade to have like a sort of fence. So this not only adds parking to the right at the road, but also we had a little space over here because of this connection. So we had like a grate over here with this hickory tree, and then two benches at the back, and then in between we decorated with the pink bush and the spruce, which I think looks really cool. That kind of rhymed. That kind of unintentionally rhymed. So yeah, and then same thing basically with this one. So we use the same passage park for the connection with this road, and then basically extended it to the central park. And we have added like these some more small pocket parks here and there just to fill in the gaps that how we can. And I think these pocket parks are like really time saving and truly the best things that I think we can have for detailing the small areas. So you can find these over here, these pocket parks, and these range from 1 cell deep to all the way to like 1x4s, or I think like 5x1s or something like that. So these are quite nice, and basically we have done the same over here. So you can see the same pocket parks over here lined up all nicely, then some parking, then some custom decoration over here, then a park over here, some parks over here, then these two guys all lined up nicely, and then some pathways in middle, which I think people are using. Yeah, people are using this, so just a small connection. And then some more small little detailings with the trees and bushes. Then we also decorated like these parks that we had over here, so with simple road markings and flower bushes and some divider lines, and then again the tiny pocket park with some bush detailing and barrier detailing. Then again a couple of pocket parks over there. And then we reached to the other part of the district where most of our population resides. So again, we started from here with the parking and the parks for this type of layout over here. So again, the same corridor park or small pocket parks over here. And then over here, I did something different. So in real life, this is a park. Rather than keeping that, I placed this dockyard lounge park over here, and then a lot of these guys over here, just to fill up the space and have like some sort of outdoor dining area. So I think this looks pretty cool, and this fills up pretty nicely. And then we also have like people coming in over here, so which is really nice. We also added this mural over here, which I think looks really cool. And something doesn't feel right. We had another mural over here, but I think we are having some overlapping issues over here. I will show you a picture of how that looks overall. But you know, we did that, and with some bushes and over here, and then we decorated this roundabout over here with the bushes. Looks so good. And then we moved to the central park, and you can see how this looks now with all the detailing, with the trees, the parks, and the pathways, and then the lake finally. So I guess let's start from the lake, because this is the attraction point. So you can see we have added a lot of like these bushes over here with the flower bushes and some variations, and then some the big lindens, or I think London plane. So this looks really cool, and I have a snippet over here. You can see how this looks in some really cool cinematic lighting. And yeah, I mean, we have went all in with this one. And then in these open areas over here, we also have added like some additional things, so some additional detailings. So we have like the sort of like sitting area over here with some food stall over here, and then we have some campground benches and fireplaces all throughout, and you just can have a chill time over here. Then I think the second one is over here. So this is more of like a simple one. So we just have these pathways and then some gazebos in between with some bush detailing. So it's pretty fair, it's fairly simple and easy. And then I think the third one is over here. So this is more of like your children's play area, and then you can just have chill time over here. So we did this over here because over here on the back side we have a lot of mixed use buildings. That means we have a lot of like these shops, and if you have like these many shops beside a huge central park, then obviously you are going to bring your kids over here. So we have like a kids playing area over here, and then we have some local shops over here with some tables and everything to just relax, or maybe you buy something over from the shops and then come over here, sit down and have a nice time outdoors. So we did that. And then we have a few bridges over here to just help people cross over, and you can see how busy these guys are, and it looks so good over there. Just see that so many people are using the pathways and traveling here and there, which I really like. This is basically our huge European expansion that we had planned over here. This was our European expansion, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, then please leave a like, and if you are new or enjoy my content, then please subscribe and check out my Patreon to support the work that I do. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, enjoy the cinematics and happy building.